or possibly looking forward into the future. What sacrifices have you had to make, or do you think you might have to?
Sacrificed most of my degree. My last exam, I was meant to have read 4 novels, and I read none of those novels. I went on Wikipedia and found out the plots on there. I still got 2-1, so who's fucked the system? Other sacrifices, I think you do inevitably sacrifice some friendships, because some friendships rely on a constant being with each other, or like knowing that like they can call you and you'll be there. And that just, with my lifestyle, it just can't happen, because if you call me, I'm probably not in a city that you've even heard of. You know, it's like chances are I'll be somewhere obscure in the country, and I won't be able to come out for a drink. Or so certain friendships just, not that I've had an argument with someone or whatever, but certain friendships just naturally part because they get into a 9 to 5 and they're looking for people that they can see every night after work or things like that, and it's just completely different. So certain friendships have been sacrificed and things like that, and family as well. I very rarely get a chance to properly spend some serious time with my family because I'm never at home, because I'm always gigging wherever.
I suppose it's the stability thing, really. I mean, I think because of the way I do it, it's quite nice because I get to do projects that I'm really enthusiastic about and really love doing, and I have quite a lot of control over what it is I'm doing. But I suppose if you were working for someone, then you would have a bit more stability, salary and all that kind of thing. So you kind of sacrifice that to have a bit more creative control over what you're doing. But I'd rather be doing it the way I do it, I think.
Sacrifices. I don't get to go to enough Arsenal games. It's pretty sad. Barely any sacrifices at all. It's just brilliant. It's so good. I can't think of anything bad that's happened. It's just the greatest thing ever.
I suppose sacrificing potentially other work. I mean, it's if I wanted to get into being a lawyer or something, I probably should have started by now. And, there's certain jobs which you have to progress, don't you? And I don't think they don't really want a comedian to in the office, do they? Because I'll just piss about. So I think the fact that I'm doing comedy, I've done it for so long now, and it's now my job, that if I at some stage said I don't really want to do this, I want to work for wherever, I think it could make it a bit difficult, because they'd say, what have you been doing for these last few years? Pissing about for a living. Well, now you've got to work for us. I think but it's not a sacrifice that I'm worried about, because it's not, hopefully, something I'm going to have to do, and hopefully be able to live off it for life, but who knows.
Yeah, that's good. Effectively, my dream is compromised on what affects about a monthly basis. I've been wanting to be in a band since I started a band. We sat there drawing logos as if they were going to be, it went from so it went from Kerrang to Enemy to Art Rocker, just based on how kind of angsty we were feeling. And you want to see it in a magazine the whole time, and then you learn more and more about the industry, and you grow up, and dreams are with age, unfortunately, are dampened. But I'm still at a very, very lucky period in my life where I'm pursuing a dream that I'm fond of. It may become a time where teaching would be a dream, and I'll have that and I'll achieve that, and it will be the dream. But currently it's not, because I have something. I've got this youthful. There's just it's like as if it was a graph, like youth and dream, and it's just kind of I guess it gets grinded down. But that's fine. That's cool. That's just rites of passage, and it's fine. It's good. I've had to set aside dreams already, so it's not and some people, the vast majority, never even had a dream or never even touch upon it, and I feel as though I'm touching upon something that I like, so it's good.
I guess it involves a lot of travelling. It involves sacrificing time spent with loved ones and things like that, because you've got to travel and stay in a travel lodge and do a gig and top and tail with your manager and things like that. And I hate sharing a bed.
You do have to do a lot of crap gigs and stuff, but so you got to build yourself up by doing stuff you don't want to do. But that's true of everything. I think if you whinge about that sort of stuff, then you're just a whinger. Every job that's worth doing, you have to make the tea, or do the photocopies in a lawyer's office or something. Stand up, you just have to drive to Yeovil for like 10 quid. Like it's still better than making photocopies, like because you see Yeovil and you have an amazing experience, and then you get better as a comedian. You know what I mean? It's still way better. So like, yeah, sacrifices. It's not really the right way to describe it. I don't know. It's just you have to do a lot of like shit things, but that's true of everything. I think so. I just don't think it's. I don't think I've made any sacrifices, to be honest.
So, what's the best advice you could give someone trying to do what you're doing?
Quit. Don't get involved cluttering up the system. Where I'm trying to make it as the new young guy. No, advice would be patience. Patience is the best piece of advice I can give anyone. Just don't try and... Because you get into it and you do one gig and it goes well and you think, oh, I'm funny I am, I'm really funny. And then you think, so that means I should be on Mock the Week straight away. But no, it takes 10 years. Patience, you'll get there, but you're not going to be there for a while. So don't push too hard, sort of thing.
It's just I just don't want to feel let down. I don't want to feel cheated when I enter my working career. I want to be aware of how it's not just sugar. It's not it's not just rock and roll, is it? But then I wouldn't tell anyone who's not in my position that. I'd only ever tell them that about the sugary elements of it, about the girls.
So it's almost like your advice is
enjoy it,
experience it, live it, learn it.
Yeah, live it, learn it. Great.
It's difficult. I was going to say have conviction, but some people shouldn't have conviction. Some people should get on stage and realise that they're bad and stop. But so few people will do that. It's really difficult because I think comedy is so much about self-awareness. The funniest people are the ones who are most aware of like what other people perceive of them, and they can manipulate that into sort of jokes. And so I think one thing I would promote above everything else, if you're starting comedy, is just self-awareness, and kind of in a sort of Socratic way, try and realise that you are not funny. So whatever, like Socrates is said the only thing he knows is that he knows nothing, or whatever. And so if you take that approach to comedy, then I think you can only do something like good and something that you can have faith in and believe in, and then pursue that all the way through. But if you approach it with an ego, or you approach it with too many unsubstantiated beliefs about like what you're doing or whatever, you're going to fail, both in terms of happiness, but also generally in terms of your career.
Well, I think a lot of people start off kind of the same way that I did. If it's festivals, and well, really any job in the arts here in Edinburgh is an amazing place to be, because everyone in the industry is there, and if you're good, people do recognise it and they will help you. And so it is, is that old cliche that it's not what you know, it's who you know, and it's just kind of being involved and being around it. And you can also really look at other people's jobs and see what they're doing, and if it's something that interests you. I was saying to our flyering team the other day, the first year that I worked on the Royal Mile giving out flyers, there was like Brett Vincent was flyering for a street team, who now runs Get Comedy and was Underbelly. We Are Clang, we're out flyering their show every day. Mark Watson, Rod Gilbert, all these people. Simon Pearce from the Invisible Dot, he was flyering for Avalon, and it is, it's where you meet people. And if you're kind of seen as someone who works hard and is interested and keen, when people, and now, because I see it now, like people that work for me now, if they're keen and excited about the industry, you do want to help them. And so it really is just kind of getting involved and, working for free. I've done lots of that, or very little money. You just have to be willing to kind of just keep going and meet people and work hard.
Don't emulate. Do it yourself. Because you naturally, when you start doing comedy, and I did it, and everybody does it, is you try and be your favourite comics, basically, or an amalgamation of them, and you think, oh well, they're doing this certain gesture or whatever, and that gets a laugh, so I'll try that. And you have to, as quickly as you possibly can, find your own voice and find your own way of doing things, because otherwise people go, oh, he's like so and so, and then you dismiss very quickly, and you're not doing anything. You're not being you, essentially, and that's what you want to do. You want to be yourself.
So what's the best advice you've been given along the way?
A comedian called Joe Lycett gave me 2 pieces of advice. Number 1, he said, don't listen to the advice of other comedians. And 2, he said, don't try and emulate the career of others. Because too many people try and copy a career. I was trying to copy careers of just my heroes. Naturally, you get in, you think, well, he did this year, and then the next year he was on this. I'll do that. But that's not how it works. Every career is different, and you just got to take it as it comes to you. Because someone might see you on this day, they might not. So it's right place, right time, and all that. So he just gave me the advice of, yeah, just don't try and emulate other people's careers. Just do it for you.
Best advice? It's difficult to think. I suppose it is just that kind of don't give up, and just keep, if you want something bad enough, you will get it, and just sort of keep trying. And there will be setbacks along the way, and there will be days that you're just like, oh, I'm just going to give up and go and, work in a bank. But if you want something bad enough and you're good enough at it, then you'll be fine. So I think that's probably, that's what people tell you, and it is true.
Yeah, they just told me to relax when I was acting, but in terms of stand-up, I don't think that you should. I think you should always be thinking about what you do, and always be taking notes, whether they be literal notes or just like mental notes from every gig, and just sort of, you're constantly rejigging, and that's the kind of eternal frustration with it, is that you can never kind of have a perfect gig, because there's always going to be a point where someone doesn't laugh at something. And that's just a human thing, because not everyone's going to find everything funny about everything. But you're obviously eternally striving for that kind of, that plateau or whatever, like that top level. And so you can kind of judge responses and try and build up this set which you think is, intellectually stimulating, but as well, just crowds go for it. So, or sometimes that's not everyone's aim. Sometimes some people want to split a room, some people want to make an artistic statement. So they might be eternally striving for that. Which would be very frustrating, and you can see why people would get very depressed trying to do that, trying to alienate people while entertaining people. And basically the thing about comedy is that you've got to work out what you want to do, what you can do, and kind of marry the two. And if you can do that, then you'll be successful and happy. But it's hard.
Write constantly, and remember to have fun. That's the other thing, because a lot of comics, especially when they start getting busier, and I find it happening with myself, so getting busier and there's all sorts of different things going on, it becomes work, and you forget that actually you're very fortunate to be allowed to succeed in a world that so many people want to succeed and so few do. So.
It wasn't. There's no one really to call upon for advice. Everyone keeps saying, write about what you know. I like that. It's true. Something you write about, people don't affiliate with it if they don't believe it. Not the killers.